Hello, you guys. Good morning. Thank you for clicking on this video and joining me this morning. It is World Mental Health Day. And for this particular day, I wanted to bring you guys conversations, discussions, and dialogue from just other people of faith about mental wellness, mental health. Really, I just feel like there's so many people that are hurting out there, who go to church every Sunday, who feel like all they're being told is that you don't have enough faith. You need to pray more. You need to believe more. You need to trust God more. And emotional pain and wounds and the things that haunt us, it's not that easy, and that's one of the reasons behind why I do what I do. I am a licensed therapist. I am a Christian counselor and a life coach because I want provide every opportunity for people to really get the help that they need. If you're not quite comfortable with a therapist, you want to talk to a Christian counselor, I'm here. If you want to talk to a coach instead of a counselor, great. Let's do it. Truly, I know that there's a lot going on in our world, and I think a lot of it can be rooted in emotional wounds that were not dealt with, that are not being dealt with, and people are moving forward in faith, but a lot of it is pride, a lot of it is ego. There's a lot of leaders out there that need healing. So this is just a conversation this morning to get the discussion started. I hope to bring you guys more amazing content on top of our Mental Wellness Wednesdays. So enjoy. Hello, Shannae. Shannae, that's what I call her, and that's not her name, guys. That is not her name. I am so excited to be here with you. It has been a while. We have danced together. We have talked together and encouraged one another and all of that. But I do love that we also happen to both work in counseling and helping other people kind of deal with the hardships of their life. So I would just want you to introduce yourself, what you do professionally, and kind of your journey into where you are now.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, my name is Shannae Parham, and I am a licensed master social worker. I have my license in the state of Alabama, and I am in the process of getting it transferred to Georgia as well.
Okay,
But
awesome.
I am a ST, a supervised therapist for Pathway to Hope Counseling Center out in Valdosta, Georgia. So
Cool.
I'm a counselor. I'm a counselor in social work.
Okay.
And a lot of my work is done virtual remote. I work at home, but I've also, since the pandemic is trying to come down, you know how the
Mhm.
pandemic goes, I do home visits. I visit a lot of my children at home. I see them. I work with children, families, individuals that deal with substance abuse, domestic violence. Most of my clients either have a DFACS case or they're Medicaid. They have Medicaid insurance.
Yeah.
And so that's what I do. That's what I'm currently doing. And
Um,
I work independently. I do independent contract work for them. So I have my own schedule. And if I'm not seeing clients, I'm doing something. I'm married to notes, which is good. As you'll learn in our field, notes is very important. If you didn't write
right.
it, it did not happen. So, but I enjoy what I do. I do.
That's
I have.
great, Janae. Yeah. I mean, I know that I'm also a licensed clinical social worker. And I remember working for a while for CMO, which is like Medicaid, Medicare, WellCare, which is now Peach State. So I worked for an insurance company. Um, yeah, on their kind of like consulting with the providers, and then we were working with families. So we were case managers and kind of the in between providers and the families to kind of figure out what was wrong, because the insurance companies obviously they don't want to spend all that money paying for hospital visits. So that's kind of where we came in as case managers. So kind of familiar with the Medicare, Medicaid. I did that for 6 years. Yeah.
Wow.
And now
Yeah.
I work for an EAP and have my own, business on the side
Yeah.
in Christian counseling specifically, because there's a need, you know,
Yeah. There
as
is.
yeah, um, just kind of, as a segue, just, I know that you are an incredible woman of faith. This lady, y'all, has encouraged me at times when I was feeling like, what is my life? Disappointments and breakups. And, even as she was going through what she was going through, she was able to encourage me. So I just love that. I admire you very much. And I'm so happy and grateful. Congratulations again on recently getting married. I think she's coming up on your anniversary, right?
I am. Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
go Jesus.
Yeah. Glory to
Yeah,
God.
I know. And of
Yeah.
course, marriage has its other extra set of challenges at times, but when God is in the midst of it, it makes it so much better.
That's true. I
Uh,
agree.
yes, yes, yeah. I'm ready, girl. I'm ready, ready, but waiting because it's worth it.
Oh, good, good, good.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. But
absolutely.
one of the things that I wanted to kind of talk about though was, in my job, I really did see that there was this desire within me, I guess, to talk to those who were suffering, about their faith and about Jesus. And I didn't really have that opportunity, not like legally.
Yeah.
What I'm saying? Not like, we're supposed to. It's not protocol, right?
Right. Yeah.
In those situations. So even when I was working in community mental health, when I was working in the state hospital, and I did that for a while with the criminally insane, and then even working where I'm at, where I was at, and where I'm at right now, as far as my day job, which is working for an EAP. I can have some freedom, because you can just be who you are, as a
Right.
therapist. But I did see that need, and it always created, I guess, this sort of tension of not being able to talk about a person's faith and how they can use that faith to overcome some of the things that they're facing, even when it's
Right.
impossible. So that's kind of just wanted to know, in your experiences so far, where are you kind of seeing those two intersect, and how are you feeling about using your faith with the, yeah.
Well, Desi, and I always call her Desiree, Miss Cummings. I always call her Desi, but
Yes.
for it intersects all the time. I mean, we work in mental health, and they have challenges. So it's unfortunate that right now there's a separation, that barrier of faith and mental health, because you need it. It's like, our clients have these problems and we have the full answer, not just the textbook answer. And it's like, hey, it's right here. And so I see it all the time. And it's definitely a need. A lot of addiction is related to something broken emotionally or spiritually. And so it's easy, it's crystal clear to us. So for me, I continue to wear my faith, but I wear it. I may not quote a scripture or break out in prayer, but just in praying to the Lord before I go before my clients, and He knows exactly what they need. And I oftentimes find myself sharing things with them that is very much according to our code of ethics or interventions that we've learned about, but it's of God because He told me, hey, talk to them about this or ask them this question about their past. And so that's how, as believers, we're able to be wise as serpents, but gentle as doves. We're able to still get in there when it
Right.
comes to patients. And then, to be honest, I have a lot of my patients that are people of faith. And
Mhm.
so if they share, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
great. The door is open. The door is
Yeah.
open. So that happens too. That happens too.
Yes, yeah, same here. I mean, that's kind of how I had to tiptoe around that. You pray and make sure you're bringing the love of God,
Mhm.
into situations. And I think that's one thing that's important, that, we are representatives of God's love,
Right.
and his presence first and foremost. And, when we have Christ within us and he's walking with us, they're going to feel that difference, and he's going to share with us wisdom.
Right.
Jesus didn't preach to everyone that he healed, right?
He did
He just
not.
healed them, and
He
that
did.
was out of the love of God. So when you bring that to people, it does make an impact. They do know there's something different about you, and you leave them better than you found them, which I
Right.
think is a very Christian thing. And I love what you said. I mean, when they open up that window, yes, you
Mhm.
you can go, it's like, really? Well, let's
Yeah.
talk about it.
Okay. So
Let's
you're
talk
welcome.
about that. Yeah. I've had people
Exactly.
mention, oh, my kid is this and that. We've done this, we've done that. And I'm just praying and praying and praying. You know, I'm a woman of faith. And then that just kind of opens up the door for me to kind of explore some things that maybe they haven't tried with their
Right.
faith, or just encouraging them, you
Mhm.
know, and to continue to believe and saying what you really want to say in other
Yeah.
situations, but you can't. So that's awesome. Yeah.
Right. And I think it's important to know that, spirituality and faith go hand in hand with mental health. Everything is connected. Our mental health is connected to our spiritual health, our physical health, financial. So all of it's connected. So I put that out there for my clients. And when they do share faith or say, well, I just believe, I say, well, that's good because it's all connected and
Mhm.
one will actually affect the other. And so it's very much still best practice to
Yeah,
talk about. I mean, because you're cutting off a person if you don't acknowledge their faith.
exactly.
You don't, if they're not acknowledging it, I'm not going to shut it down. We
Yeah.
shouldn't shut it down. And you mentioned something earlier about expressing love and
Yeah.
showing them love. And God's love is so big, it can't be
Mhm.
contained. It doesn't matter how many laws are in place
Mhm.
or boundaries are in place. God is too big. So
Mhm.
he's gonna be found out. He's gonna see, people are gonna
Yeah.
see Christ in you. You may
Yeah.
not say anything. You may wake up at your worst and Christ is still shown in you, and so he
Yeah.
can't be hidden. He cannot be hidden. So I think that should be remembered as well.
Yeah. That's so awesome, Shannae. I love that. Yeah, too big to be contained. Um, and one of the other things I wanted to talk about that I think is something necessary is really talking about mental health in the church, and how we handle Christianity, people's faith,
Mm.
um, and not just mental illness, but also just hurt, pain, what I call emotional pain. I have found that the 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 issues that people come across is, where the answer is, well, you need to have more faith, or you need to pray more. So it's almost like I'm going through whatever I'm going through, it's hurting me, and I'm kind of being told I'm being a bad Christian.
Right.
So you're kind of layering on the problems there.
Mhm.
And I've been there myself. And so one of the passions behind what I do, and it's just kind of breaking that stigma and helping people and educating people on what is hurt, what is emotional pain. It doesn't have to be clinical depression. It can be, but sometimes it's just people are hurting, they're suffering, they're kind of going through. And we live in that Western culture where we want people to just kind of give the other. Okay,
Yeah.
you can cry about that, but I'm so sorry you lost your loved one, but okay, we need to
Right.
move on. We need to be strong in the Lord. You know what
Right.
I mean? But the Bible also says that in our weaknesses, God's strength is made perfect. But yet we deny our weaknesses, whatever that weakness could be. If it's, depression, or is it emotional pain? Is it your past traumas that you just haven't got through yet? You haven't truly talked to someone like a therapist or a counselor because you've just been told to pray about it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I'm sure you've got some thoughts burning in your head.
I do. I do. I think sometimes when it comes to that area, we forget that faith is action. So when we take authority of our emotional health, that's faith too. It doesn't mean you're less than of a Christian. There's a time and place to separate faith from things. And in that regard, if you're emotionally broken, you need emotional help. You need counseling. And
Yeah.
so the Bible says in the multitude of counselors is safety, so
Mm.
it doesn't mean you're not reading your word or you're not a woman of God, a man of God, if you're not, if because you're having to seek counsel. I have a counselor.
Yeah.
A Christian, you know, and I don't mean, oh, the Heavenly Father is my counselor. He is my counselor, but he sent me an earthly one
Yes,
too.
yes, I've had mine too. I have needed therapists. I have
Yeah.
coaches now, but if I
Oh,
need a therapist,
that's
we'll go
good.
back to a therapist. But yeah, no, absolutely, it's necessary. Go ahead.
It is. It's necessary. And so it's like if you have a broken arm, you're going to go to the doctor to get a
Mhm.
cast for it. And so sometimes we have broken emotions and we need help. We need help. And there's things that we need to work through that has nothing to do with our faith. It doesn't mean that we're a poor believer, you know. No, they can go hand in hand and God can strengthen our faith through our what we're going through emotionally or physically. But oftentimes you know, it just means that hey, we need help. And
Yeah.
so, as believers, we have to be okay with saying, okay, keep your faith, don't give up on what God has told you, but it's okay to get help. It's okay if it's taking you, if you're 2 years and you're still working on a problem, that's okay. You know, you're growing still. You're growing, and it may be some deeper things that needs to
Yeah.
come out, that needs to be
Yeah.
dealt with. So I think we should acknowledge that. And in acknowledging mental health, that's faith. That's faith too. That's very much
Come
holy.
on,
That's
girl.
much of the Lord because you're recognizing, hey, God, I need help. And God can send you the person to help you as well. So that's very much godly. It's not ungodly. I don't know where that came from. Do you? Do you
I
know where that came from? I don't know where it came from.
well, I was thinking about that actually, Shannae, because I think that sometimes it's just like a subliminal message, or it's a message behind the message, you know, of what we're hearing. And I think in ministers' attempts to encourage people and strengthen people in the Lord,
Yeah.
I think that they're you know, when they're saying this message, I think people are picking up on, okay, if I'm still dealing with something and it's been 10 years, 2 years, whatever, it's an issue with my faith. It's not that I need to go talk to someone, you
Mhm.
know. I think part of that is why we're seeing that a little bit, and it's not intentional, you know. The pastors, the shepherds, they're trying to shepherd the flock. They're trying to encourage people and help people, and they don't want to see you suffer. But there's still just that stigma with going to see a counselor or a therapist. I think a lot of people think you have to have a serious mental illness, or SME, the SMI, or SMI. SME is a subject matter expert. But yeah, I think that it's it's one of those things that we feel like, well, if I do that, I'm admitting some type of failure. I've even had clients say that. You know,
Oh,
what held me back from going to counseling for so long was that I saw it as another failure of myself, and failure of my faith.
right.
Yeah.
And what we should be teaching people in the church is important to, as ministers, because I know you're a minister as well, to balance the word, to balance it and say, you know, God is, like you said earlier, he's made strong. In when we're weak, his power can be made strong in us. So it's not that we're embracing weakness and we just want to say, hey, we're just helpless. You know,
Yeah.
it's never safe to be on any extreme,
Hmm.
but in that case, hey, you know, God is still on the throne in your life. You know,
Yeah.
he's still doing amazing things, even if you have to go to counseling, even if you have to be on medication. I'm not big on medication, but if it's needed,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, yeah.
Yes. I love that.
All good and perfect things come from above. So if there's something in your life that's pulling you closer to him, that's pulling you closer to health,
Yes,
then
girl.
that's of God. It's of
Mhm.
God, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree. You know, I think we've got to take some authority, like you said, over our emotional health. I really loved that, Shanann. And is there anything else we want to kind of give to the people to leave them with before? Because I really feel like this is helpful and this is a blessing to people, to kind of encourage them that it's okay to talk to someone, whether it could be a counselor or a coach, you know, because some people are more comfortable with the idea of talking to a coach than a counselor, like whatever, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, you
Absolutely.
know, I'm kind of both, and just to give people options. I want to open the door for God to do what he wants to do, and not let people's fears, or stereotypes get in the way of that. Just get the help that you need, because we live in such an emotionally broken world, and that spills into so many things, why people are so hurting and people are unable to show up. People are, hurting each other and dating and all, out there. It's just the ripple effect of not taking care of yourself emotionally is definitely seen in our society, I think, especially a few years ago. Child abuse went up, domestic violence went up, divorce went up. I mean, it's just everything kind of just
went up. Yeah. Yeah, it did. It went up, and it's up to us to come in as the children of God to bring those things in alignment with God.
Yes.
In alignment, bring them down to where they're supposed to be. I think you summed it up perfectly. Get the help that you need, and don't feel ashamed. Anytime you're feeling ashamed, especially when you're taking charge of your life, taking authority, and trying to walk in what God is telling you should walk in, that's not of God. That's not of God. If God is giving you a promise and there's a barrier and you're fighting to get around that barrier, you're doing a godly thing, because you're pressing towards what he's calling you to do, or where he's saying you should be. And if that pressing means, hey, let me get some help to help me get over this barrier, think about the passage in the Bible where the friends let their friend down. They took off the roof and let him down. They pressed.
Girl, yeah.
They didn't just say, oh, well, if I do that, that's not godly. That's not very nice to take off someone's roof. No, if God said you're healed, you healed. Go get it.
Yeah.
Go get healing, whatever that is, physically, mentally, or emotionally. And do not be ashamed, because shame comes from the enemy. That is not from the Lord. Shame is not a spirit of the Lord. And so if you're feeling shame, I encourage anyone out there that's feeling shameful or discouraged or less than, that's not of God, and that's not who you are. So
Amen. You're gonna make me cry. That's so awesome. So true.
If you cry, I want to cry.
And it's okay to cry, by the way.
It is okay.
Oh, we're so dorky. Yeah. No, that was so good, because I've had my moments. I've had my 911s with my pastor, with other ministers of the Lord. Love to all of you guys that is helping along the journey, because it's a battle for your destiny. And if anything's getting in the way of it, you got to tear it up.
You do.
Through it. I love that. That was awesome.
Right. Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Shannae What's your name now? Parham?
Yeah, Parham. Yeah.
Like Parmesan cheese. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm excited about your journey. I know that you're going to do great things in the Lord through where he's leading you professionally. This is just the beginning. So I'm super excited. We might team up again in a much bigger way one day. You never know. So
thank you so much, Des. You are such an inspiration to me professionally, and just everything that you do. I mean, it's like you're such an example to the Lord, and such a fire, and I'm so thankful for you. So thank you for this opportunity. I'm always learning from you, and I'm thankful to join with you when possible. So thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
I love it. Well, to all of my peoples, thank you so much for watching. You can find Shannae on Instagram, right?
Not yet. I need to get on Instagram, but definitely Facebook.
You can find me on Facebook. Yes, she'll be tagged on Facebook. Also, and whatever she does, we will put that out there. But I just want to thank you guys for watching. I hope that this was helpful. This was a blessing to you. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you can get new videos like this to inspire you in your faith and in your mental health, just overall wellness, mind, body, and spirit. We got to have it. We got to have it. The Lord said that he wants us to have that abundant life. So this is what this is about. You can find me on Instagram, put it somewhere here, for both the business and personal page. That's it. You guys be blessed.
Right. Bye.